Let's go back in time. Imagine a world where the biggest win in marketing was just a single click. A world where, get this, putting up a picture of your dog as your profile photo was actually against the rules. Well, that world was just about a decade ago, and today we are opening up a time capsule to see what it was all about.
Hey, if you enjoy deep dives like this one and you want to keep up with the constantly changing world of marketing, do us a favor and hit that like button and subscribe. We do explainers like this every week to help you stay ahead of the game.
So for anyone who was working in marketing about 10 years ago, this is going to feel familiar. That little blue thumbs up, that was it. That was the holy grail of social media marketing. It feels kind of quaint now, doesn't it? But it's the perfect place to start our journey.
Okay, so here's our plan for this trip down memory lane. First, we're going to look at the social media gold rush. Then we'll dig into the strategies from back then that surprisingly still work today. After that, we'll do a deep dive into Facebook 2013 style. And finally, we'll wrap it all up by looking at what's changed and what really hasn't.
Okay, so picture it. The year is 2012. The internet feels like this new frontier, and social media is the gold everyone is rushing to find. Businesses were just scrambling to stake their claim online, absolutely terrified of being left in the digital dust. It was a chaotic, exciting time, and everybody wanted in on the action.
And this number, wow, this really shows you just how mainstream social media had become. 82%. The book we're looking at today focuses on the Russian market, and it makes it super clear that this wasn't just a trend for techies anymore. We're talking mass market. And you know the rule. Where the people go, businesses have to follow. It wasn't really a choice, it was a necessity.
And check this out. This chart shows that even a powerhouse like Facebook couldn't just walk into any country and take over. In many places, local networks were still the absolute kings. So the lesson for marketers back then was pretty clear. You had to know the local scene. A one-size-fits-all strategy just wasn't going to cut it.
So you can imagine, in all that chaos, this 2013 guide was like a lifeline. It laid out a playbook of strategies that were built to last. And what's really amazing is that these rules are just as important today, even though some of the platforms from back then are, well, they're basically ancient history. And right in the middle of all that gold rush panic, the guide gives this amazing piece of advice from Teddy Roosevelt. It was such a great reminder that, all the flashy new technology in the world doesn't mean a thing if you forget the one thing that actually matters: genuine human connection.
I mean, just look at this list. A clear plan. Know your audience. Be authentic. Give people something valuable. Build relationships. Be consistent. Seriously, you could have written this yesterday. These aren't just tips for 2013. They are the absolute foundation of good communication, period, on any platform, in any decade. But if there was one big flashing don't in 2013, it was this. Don't treat social media like it's just another billboard. The guide is so clear about this. You're a guest in someone else's space. You can't just barge in and start shouting about your product. You had to be part of the conversation, or you'd get ignored, or worse, blocked. All right, let's get our hands dirty and really dig into the specifics of Facebook circa 2013. This is where we start to find some of the most fascinating and honestly kind of funny relics of a different digital era. Back in the day, the world of Facebook was basically divided into three separate lands. You had your personal space, the profile, then there was the official spot for businesses, the page, and then you had your clubs and hangouts, which were groups, and you really didn't want to get the three mixed up if you were a business. And this table tells you everything you need to know. If you were a business, there was really only one choice, the page. It was the only way to get the tools you needed, like unlimited followers, analytics, and advertising. Trying to run a business from a profile or a group was pretty much a dead end. And once you had your page, oh boy, there were rules. A very strict set of rules. You could not ask for likes on your cover photo. You could not put a big arrow pointing to the like button. And you definitely couldn't put your contact info or a sale announcement on that cover photo. It was a much more buttoned up, controlled environment back then. Okay, this one is my absolute favorite. The book actually takes the time to warn you that using a picture of your cat or dog as your profile photo was, and I'm not kidding, technically against the rules. It's just wild to think about now. It really shows you how much the platform wanted you to present a specific, real person identity and how much more freedom we have to show our personality today.
So, now that we've stepped out of our time capsule and back into the present, what's the big takeaway? What old ideas should we leave in the past? And what timeless wisdom is still super valuable today? When you really look at it, the evolution of social media marketing is all about a shift in focus. Back in 2013, it was all about grabbing attention, getting as many likes and fans as you could. Today, it's a fight for real connection. It's about driving engagement, getting people to act, to convert. The tools and platforms have changed, for sure, but the goal itself has gotten so much smarter. But for all that change, the core ideas have stayed exactly the same. Authenticity, community, knowing your audience, providing real value. Think of it like a tree. The leaves and branches of social media, the platforms, the trends, they're always changing. But the roots are still there. And those roots have always been and will always be about connecting with other people in a real way. So that leaves us with one final thing to think about. Looking back at how much has changed since 2013, what are we doing right now? What best practices are we all following that 10 years from now are going to look completely ancient, maybe even a little bit silly? Thanks so much for coming along on this trip through the past. If you want to stay on top of what's coming in the future of marketing, make sure you like this explainer and subscribe to the channel. We'll be here to help you figure out this wild, ever-changing digital world. We'll see you in the next one.